Hello everybody and welcome to Reach Law Talks. My name is Sini Suomela and I'm the head of OR and registration practice here in Reach Law. Today I will talk to you about dossier updates and especially on how the deadlines to update the dossiers were changed last year. As you might know, in Reach under Article 22, it is a legal obligation for the companies to keep the registration dossiers up to date. The REACH regulation requires that the companies update the dossiers on their own initiative without undue delay when there are changes related to the data in the dossier. The changes can be related to the substance data, tonnage data, or for example, the company information. However, this without undue delay phrase has proven to be a bit too vague for companies to actually update the dossiers on time. For this reason, the European Commission decided last year to clarify the deadlines on when to update the dossiers when you need a spontaneous dossier update. The requirement to update without undue delay, it has been now specified in most cases as 3 months and then in some more complex cases up to 12 months. The 3-month deadline applies to most common cases on when you update the dossier, for example compositional changes or for example tonnage band updates. The longest deadline of 12 months applies to, for example, changes in the chemical safety report, because those of course require more time. It is important to notice that for the co-registrant, the most common deadline is 3 months. So the co-registrants have 3-month deadline to update after the lead registrant has submitted their dossier update. So as you can see, in many cases, the deadline to update the dossier, it can be very short. It is very important to notice that the dossier update requirement concerns all the registrants, not just the lead registrant. So the joint submission members, they must jointly make sure that the data is submitted to ECHA on time and that is correct. However, in many of the updates, it is actually enough that only the lead registrant submits the dossier update. But even in this case, very often the co-registrant, they have to share the costs related to the update, and in very many cases, they have to update their extended safety data sheet. When the lead registrant announces that they have updated their dossier, you need to check what has been updated and does this affect your dossier also, or does it affect your safety data sheet? A very common case is when the chemical safety report is in the joint submission submitted individually by each registrant. In this case, when the lead registrant updates the CSR, every registrant has to submit the updated CSR to ECHA also with an updated dossier. Enforcement of these spontaneous updates, that's done by the member state authorities. ECHA only monitors those updates that are done based on ECHA decisions. As the Commission now has these very clear deadlines for each type of updates, it is very likely that the enforcement also checks spontaneous dossier updates this year. From our experience, some dossiers are updated even every year, even many times per year. This especially applies for very hazardous substances. However, these constant updates, they can help you in the future, especially if your substance ends up in the ECHA dossier evaluation or substance evaluation. It is easier to reply to the evaluation decisions when your data is already up to date. It is very important that you keep actively following your Reach IT account and also your joint submission discussions. So make sure that the lead registrant of your joint submission has your up-to-date email and that you monitor this email regularly. Then you know if there's any changes related to your substance or if there has been any dossier updates. As mentioned, the deadlines to update the dossiers, they can be very short, even only 3 months. So you have to be able to act very quickly if there's a dossier update needed. Remember especially to track your volumes at all the time. No matter what you update in your dossier, you always need to update also your volume information. That's why it's important that you have this information in hand. You can see from ECHA's dissemination tool when each registrant has updated the dossier for each substance. If you can see from there that every other registrant for the same substance have updated their dossier, but you haven't, this is then very likely that you have missed something. You can then contact your lead registrant and ask if there has been any changes that would require you to update your dossier also. You can also check from ECHA website if there has been any evaluations for the substance or for the dossier, and especially if there has been some ECHA decisions, then it's very likely that you have to update your dossier or you have to do it in the future. Thank you very much for listening, and please feel free to send questions to ReachLaw if you have any, or if you need help in your dossier updates. Remember also to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep track on important regulatory issues. Thank you.